My angling's way off. Let me sort that out real quick. The idea what I'm about to talk about in this video changed my life. And it's weird, I only found out about it like literally 2 weeks ago when I was listening to a module on one of the courses I brought. Oh, on a course I brought, I only brought one. I brought Iman Gadzhi's course, and in this module on mindset, he was talking about this idea, and instantly it changed my life. It changed everything. Like I was listening to it at the time and I was like, this changes, everything changes from this point forward, because this information is gold. Like, this idea is gold. And for some reason, I'd never heard about this idea anywhere else. I've read about 40 books, and in none of them, nobody's talking about this idea. So I'm not quite sure as to why. I'm going to get straight into it and just talk about it. So the idea is called the 5 emotional stages of change. And what it essentially is a journey that everybody embarks on in every new endeavor that you go on, whatever it is, diet, a hobby, mindset, whatever it is you're changing or seeking to change. This is the journey you go on, the 5 steps you go on, regardless. And so it's uninformed optimism, informed pessimism, valley of despair, informed optimism, and success and fulfillment. And so let me just start at number 1, uninformed optimism. Dog. Uninformed optimism is just a starting point for all achievement, okay? You're starting off on a new path, everything's good, you're at the height of like optimism, everything feels great, everything's fine, everything's, you're excited for the journey you're about to go on, you just found out about the idea, or you've just mustered up the courage, everything's good and everything seems good. And so you start taking action, and maybe it goes well for a little while, but then step number 2 kicks in, uninformed pessimism. You start taking action, and it might be working out fine for you, but inevitably what's going to happen is you're going to reach a point where it's like you didn't expect it. You're going to hit a roadblock, and you're not going to expect it. So then, doubts are going to start rising in your mind because it's not part of the plan. And very quickly you realize you're on a journey there's more to it than meets the eye. And it's not this linear, straight, rocket off to the moon path that you initially thought it would be. And so obviously questions are in your mind now along the lines of, questioning the idea in itself, questioning if it's even worth doing, because, you realize that it's going to take a lot more than you initially thought. And then you're like, okay, so I don't know if this is even worth doing. You're questioning yourself, you're questioning the idea, you're questioning the person who gave you the concept, like gurus and all right. If you're planning on starting a business, and then you've been taught this concept and you paid £1,000 for a course, and then you're meeting all these roadblocks, you might start to question the guru and call him a scammer or whatever else. But either way, it's overwhelming emotionally, and very quickly, if you're not careful, not even that. Very quickly, it's going to lead to the valley of despair, because it's inevitable, especially if you're not like expecting this. It's going to slip through, and you're not going to know where to go forward. So
I got a GoPro on for.
But essentially, in a nutshell, step number 2, you start taking action, you realize there's more than meets the eye, and then so you slip into step number 3. And what step number 3 is the valley of despair, which it's inevitable, but it sucks, okay? Pessimism's at an all-time high. You're like, and the thing is, that anger or the questioning or whatever you was feeling before in step number 2, in step number 3, it turns to doubt. And doubt is bad because you can't stay there for too long. Your mind's going to kick in, and it's going to come up with different stories as to why you should quit. And the thing about your mind is nobody knows you better than your mind, because obviously you are your mind. And so it's going to tell you different things like, why did I even think it was going to work, and that you should quit, or, this feels bad, like this is painful, like why am I even going through this? It's not worth it, like stop. Like my life before wasn't that bad. Like eating junk food's not that bad. Waking up late is not that bad. I don't even need to drink water anyway. It doesn't taste like anything. There's no health benefits. Whatever the narrative. And then on top of that, it's going to telling you about past failures and past stories of things and failures. And, especially when you're not aware of it. And, that's going to be painful too. And then on top of that, you're going to have people in your life who are feeding into these narratives. So you're going to have people who maybe have failed in the past too, and they're going to feed into these different narratives that you've created for yourself, and they're going to tell you to stop. So like 95%, they say 95% of businesses don't succeed. And then there's no wonder why they don't, because there's all these different things at stake. There's so many different things at play. So it's like, there's all of this, you've got people, there's all these different things at play. And so there's no wonder why people don't get what it is they strive for. And there's this whole idea of New Year's resolutions and not sticking to goals and whatever else, because, you know, you've got people around you, you've got your environment kicking into that. And then so it's like, inevitably, the next step after this would be to just quit and then move on, you know? Unless you're a 1% and you've got high emotional intelligence and you've got a high IQ and you can figure things out and you've got like mentors that, you know, are wise, and, you know, you're a well-rounded guy with high conscious awareness. If you ain't got these things, chances are you've already quit, which, like I've just explained to it makes sense as to why, because it's hard, you know, it's tough to do. I just passed the police. It's tough to do it. Like Valley of Despair sucks. It's not easy, you know. Nothing you're going to strive for, nothing you're going to achieve is going to be this easy, rocket up, linear thing. Like, you're going to go through this journey, and it's inevitable. Okay, and so most people find themselves going through step 1 to 3 in everything they do, and that's called the cycle of failure, which would be, I see something new, this is cool, it seems great, it seems easy, I'm gonna change, everything's gonna change now. You do it, step 1, this is great, step 2, wait, this isn't what I signed up for, step 3, the mind kicks in, the doubt kicks in, and then the mind kicks in backwards. What am I saying? Step number 3, the doubt kicks in, and then the mind kicks in. This isn't me, this isn't going to work, you quit. Step number 1 to 3. Throughout life, and most people just get to that point. So most people just kind of reenact step number 1 to 3 throughout their life, and then it's just, their life is just an accumulation of failures. But where this gets really tricky is that most people, it only takes like a good 2 or 3 failures, and then they're done trying new things altogether. And then that whole idea and that whole cycle of 1 to 3, that whole cycle of step 1 to 3 is just replaced with a fear of failure. Whether you went through the failures yourself, or you inherited failures, or you've been told other people's failures. You could have this fear of failure from your own doing, or you could have it from something somebody's told you. You could have it inherited genetically, whether you're born into a family of obese people, or born into poverty, or, you know, whatever else, right? You could just be born into it. Like, some people just have this fear of failure, and they don't know where it's come from. You know, it's just this unconscious thing. So I'm losing my voice. Anytime they go to pursue anything new, they've just got this fear come up. And that's what this is. Any fear what comes towards new things is because of this at play. They just have this fear of failure thing going on. Like I said, they might not even be conscious of it. So they've just got this thing playing out in the background, this discomfort towards whatever it is they might be achieving, whether it be going up to talk to a girl, starting a new business, or having a diet, or whatever else. So it's crazy. It's no wonder people aren't succeeding and getting the things they actually want out of life. Like, there's a lot of different things at play emotionally, and a lot of success has got to do with emotional intelligence. Like, this plays into emotional intelligence as opposed to like intellect. Intellect is like left brain, business malarkey. But, you know, you can be intellectually smart, but if you haven't got the emotional, toughness and the emotional tenacity, you aren't going to get what it is you truly desire. So you need to have emotional intelligence, and you need to have a little bit of intellect. Like, you can't be a complete dimwit. If you're a complete dimwit, you're not going to have the capacity. But step number 4, as you walk through the shadow of the valley, of death, and you get through that, if you're one of the few that gets through that, you're already a 5%, because most people have dropped the gloves down. Most people have surrendered. They've given up. They've stopped. So if you get through to informed optimism, it's only really up from here. Like, it kind of is just straight to the moon from here on out. It's just rocket growth, because it's just a matter of keeping going and going through the valley of despair and coming out the other side. And so what that looks like is you've kept going, you're tenacious, you're persistent, you're strong, you know? All the words under the sun, all the affirmations, all the positiveness. And so you've started to get positive results in whatever it is you're doing. So now you've got that, on top of the fact you realize what it actually takes, And you know, that all that doubt you had before, it's starting to turn into hope because you've got like proof that this whole thing works. And you know, you've got the results, you realize what it takes, and so there's hope now because you realize, wait, I can actually pull this off, and it's great. And all that knowledge you accumulated on the subject before, it's all playing in now, and it's all working, and everything's great. Like you realize it's not this linear thing, but you also realize that you've got a lot more to you than meets the eye, and that you know, you're actually going to pull this off. You're going to make this work. And then, so you catapult straight into step number 5, which is success and fulfillment. And by its fruits, you'll know them. Like, when it happens, you already know what it is. You've got proof of concept, you've got the success, and, you know, it's the dream life. And it's what it was you were striving for in step number 1. But the thing is, the way success comes about, it's never in a way that you expect. So it's so surprising, it's so novel, and it's just so great. And you've got the result, you've got the success, you know, you've got everything what comes with that, the increased self-esteem. You've actually got the result that you wanted. So, you know, everything's great. And it kind of just catapults from here on out, and it's just exponential. There's no more of that self-doubt where you're questioning whether this is going to work or not, because you've got proof that it works. And so it's kind of effortless growth now. And this is why some people can go about a thing and kind of just get to it straight away because they've already got the proof of concept. Like, say your parents are rich, or your parents are successful, or your parents have done cool things in life, or your parents are like in shape. Like, say your dad's a bodybuilder like mine. So for me, achieving my dream body was easy because I see my dad, he's hench. I see my brother, he's hench. They go to the gym. They already work out. They know this works. And so when they gave me the framework, I realized this works because my dad's hench, my brother's hench. I'm just going to do it. There's no inner resistance. There's no identity crisis. And then, although I did go through this emotional stages of change, it was nowhere near what it would have been if all my family were obese. You know, it was just easy. And so that's the power of proof. That is the power of proof of concept. And it feels bloody great when you master it. And so, you know, this thing, this little cycle, this little secret, this is like the best kept secret. It's like Pandora's box. And so this thing kind of is cyclical, and it plays out in all areas of your life. So now you've got this concept and you understand it, and I've kind of just given you the framework. Like, everything changes from here. Like, you don't understand. Like, I hope you're as excited as I was when I first found out about this, because it really does change everything. Like, whatever it is you want to go about and achieve, you can kind of just move towards it now because you know what to expect and you know how to do it. Like, it's amazing. And like I said, it changed my life. It was bloody great. It was a bloody great day. It was a bloody great day when I found out about it. And I hope it changes your life as well, because it really helped me.